When I was in the I think fifth, sixth grade, um, my mom was she was part of or she was teaching a Girl Scouts group, and I think that there was a bunch of my friends that were um, wanted to be uh, well, I think wanted to do something. So and she was a teacher at the time, so she was teaching that Girl Scout club to to kids that were my age, and and with my buddies, and we also formed a team. I think it was called the club. Like I think it was called it wasn't a Boy Scouts. It was called something else. It was like something Cougars or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, one of the things that were taught in that class from my mom as a teacher was she taught us how to sew, and that was really good to learn how to sew because I think I sewed a blue shark, like a little blue shark that you use for a pillow for your head, and I sewed that. I think because Jaws was coming out at the time. That movie Jaws was coming out at the time, so I was kind of excited about sharks and things like that. So anyway, I sewed a shark. It was just a fun-looking shark. It wasn't anything scary, real scary or anything like that. So what I'm doing here is every once in a while my shorts, the buttons get uh, they get all worn out. The string that holds the button on my shorts gets worn out from being stretched and pulled all the time from me sitting and you know transferring and things like that. It puts a lot of pressure on that button, so sometimes it pops off from a bunch of wear and tear. And then I I know I can sew, and my mom, um, even though I learned how to sew from her, was it probably 30 years ago now, 35 years ago, somewhere like that, something like that. So, but anyway, in between then, I think when I was in my uh, late teens, whenever I left high school and left home and was on my own in college, then I had to learn how to sew a little bit on my own, some of my clothes, and so um, it was pretty much the buttons that I pretty much had to sew. So it wasn't anything really complicated like sewing on uh, um, sewing pants, sewing the seam of the pants or anything like that. It wasn't anything big like that. Um, but so I had as time went on, then I would kind of she would refresh my memory on how to sew, and one of the things was sewing up buttons was a big one, and I did that, and it really it's not like dudes have a bunch of string around the house, a bunch of sewing string around the house. It's pretty much my wife's um, string and needle, and so um, it's not like I have that stuff just hanging around my house for my own use. It's pretty much her thing. She made the cushion for my wheelchair. Um, I think I might show that to you in the description or show that to you in a video or something like that on that side or on this side, I don't know. But my cushion that she sewed for me, um, she used a machine, I think, a sewing machine to do that, but I'm just using my hands here, and what I did was I used the hardest part to me is getting the string into the eye of the needle. Um, and that sometimes I take my glasses off, it's a little bit easier then I can see the eye of the needle a little bit better there, and sometimes I lick the string, the end of the string, so I can thread it through the eye of the needle. But what I did this time was that I had a little like a little magnifying glass, a very tiny magnifying glass that I used this time, and so I think I still had my glasses off. I still took my glasses off to run the needle through the eye, run the string through the eye of the needle. But but I but I was able to do it. Um, what I had was there was a little bit of string on it already through the eye that went through the eye of the needle, and so I sewed it a little bit that way um, with the string that was already on there, but it wasn't enough. I think I could only get maybe 4 or 5 passes through the button, from the button through the shorts into the button and out of the top of the shorts and back down through the button, through the shorts, and to the bottom. I think I only could do that maybe 3 or 4 times, and so that wasn't really sufficient. So I needed a stronger hold on that on that button so that it wouldn't pop off. Um, within a week or two, whenever I wore those shorts again. So what I like to do is I like to run the needle through one of those holes, and then run the needle, poke the needle through the diagonal hole going down. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Um, you can see that this was whenever my string was not long enough, so I was only able to do it 4 or 5 times. But and the reason why I say it's not long enough is because at that point, when it runs through 3 or 4 times, then I had to tie it off somehow, get it to go through the bottom of the shorts where it had been sewed into where the string had um, gone through the shorts a little bit. I had to sew it through that a few times, through that thread a few times, and I couldn't really do that because it wasn't long enough. Because the string wasn't long enough anymore at that point. So I think I'm pretty sure that I went too far as far as threading the string through the buttons to try and hold the buttons on. You can see it's a little bit getting pretty short here. So what I did then was I got a longer string. But this time, what I had to do was I had to get rid of all the string that was still in the another piece of string onto that string that was already on there, but I didn't want to tie any. I didn't want to have any ties. Um, the only ties that I did make was that I wanted to tie the string a few times so that it would grab onto the shorts whenever I was running the thread through the holes of the shorts.